Good evening again, or should I say good morning, YouTube. It's my second video for March 14th, uh, 2022 coming at you this morning. I want to do another video about another story that broke this past week about NFL football player for the Atlanta Falcons, a wide receiver by the name of Calvin Ridley. Some people may not be familiar with Calvin Ridley, but he's one of the better up-and-coming young receivers here in the NFL. Uh, he was going to be going to his fifth year with the Falcons as he got drafted in 2018. And since he's come aboard, if you watched him, you can tell just by the way he plays and the plays that he was making that he was going to be one of the better players in the league. But he hit a bump in the road this year that's really a bump that was caused by his own hand. And so he's temporarily crashed his career over something that's self-inflicted. And because of that, I feel like it's appropriate to do another video in my series that I have ongoing called A Tale of an Epic Fail. This will be part 5. A Tales of an Epic Fail 5, my 5th video in this series. And for those of you who have watched my Tale of an Epic Fail video series, I've done profiles on various people in the world of sports and entertainment. They have really had, been privileged in life, but somehow or another they've managed to maybe self-sabotage themselves in some way. That's my heater coming on in the background, so I hope hopefully that's not too distracting to you all. As I said, this past week, the NFL wide receiver by the name of Calvin Ridley was discovered to have been placing bets on football games, not only for the Falcons, but I think over the past couple of days, it's even come out that he's placed bets on teams outside the world of football. And what makes that wound open up even more for the Falcons and for Calvin Ridley was that if you follow Calvin Ridley this past season, when the 2021-2022 season, you would see that Calvin actually took himself out of the rotational competition this year because he reportedly had some kind of issues going on within his life. I think it was deemed to be maybe like some psychological issues he had going on, and he wanted to deal with. I don't know if it had anything to do with this gambling stuff, but he really had only maybe like over maybe 200 some yards receiving this past year before he took himself out of game action. And as you all know, this was a rebuilding year for the Falcons. They had a new head coach in Arthur Smith. He was the offensive coordinator that came over from the Tennessee Titans. So they were counting on Calvin Ridley to be available and for him to go out there and make some plays for him. And because of that, and because of the fact that Calvin really wasn't available like they thought he was going to be, they had to change their offense. It had to be a little bit more, cut down, a little bit more reduced in terms of what they could be able to do as a team. And as a result, it kind of hurt the Falcons if you watch them. And so, not only did he take himself out of action this year because of personal reasons, the Falcons actually played it, pretty cool in terms of how they responded to it. They were like, well, we're just going to work with him. We're going to just, help him, get through whatever issue he's going through, and hopefully he can come back stronger. Because I think the Falcons were entertaining trade discussions with him within the past month or so. But when this second issue of the gambling came up, this past week, I believe they informed other teams that, hey, man, this guy probably ain't going to be able to play this year. And just out of good faith, they told teams that up front. And so I think they're interested Calvin really just dropped from there because, again, you want him to be able to be available to play for you, if you're going to bring him aboard, which is understandable. Either way, Calvin Ridley was a receiver that played football at the University of Alabama, was one of the best receivers in college football over his last 2 years. And again, in 2018, he got drafted by the Falcons in the first round. In his first 2 years, he was playing with Julio Jones. And so Calvin was just a number 2 guy, on the team. He was number 2. As you can see in 2018, didn't do too much, that year. Well, let me take it back. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong stat. He had 821 yards receiving in 2018. Pretty much had a similar statistic line in 2019 with 866. But 2020 is when he broke loose. Is that he had 90 catches for 1,374 yards. And as you can see this past year, he had 281 yards on 31 receptions before he took himself out of action due to the psychological issues. Either way, what was discovered this past week with Calvin Ridley was that, and I'm gonna bring up an article here, is that he was discovered to, at least at the time, that he had placed a bet. He had placed wagers totaling maybe $1,500 on games where he bet on I think the Atlanta Falcons and maybe a few other NFL teams. And what happened was that they said he did this during the 6-day stretch in November of 2021. He used the online betting service to place the bets, but what happened is that, number one, I believe he was outside the state of Florida when he did it. And of course, when these this service was being ran from the state of Florida, I believe, and when they saw who he was in terms of his name, they said they reported him. So the service reported him to the NFL, and they said, "Hey man, y'all got a player that's betting on games. There's been actually betting on NFL games." And what makes this so stupid is that, and let me kind of give credit to Mr. Shannon Sharp. If any of y'all watch some of those sports talk shows, if you watch Fox, I believe it's on, you'll know that a gentleman on there by the name of Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp played in the NFL mostly during the 90s, and I think in the early 2000s. And so he played in the NFL a long time. And he's a Hall of Famer. And on one of those talk shows this week, I think it's called Skip and Shannon, Shannon Sharp was talking about how it's unavoidable to use the excuse that you didn't know or you didn't realize that. Not to say that Calvin really has done that, because I think he has admitted it. Well, I just bet like $1,500, so he admitted up front that he knew it was wrong. But Shannon Sharp says in the locker room of every NFL team, and if not the locker room, somewhere in their facility, you're going to see signage that says, "Do not bet on professional sports. Do not place bets or gamble on professional sports." So it's unavoidable to say that, hey, man, I didn't know that. So he can't use that as an excuse. And that heater just went off, so maybe y'all can hear me without any background noise. And so going into it with that understanding, I don't feel sorry for Calvin Ridley at all. When I hear that you knew this up front, and that's number one, you knew it up front that what you were doing was wrong. Number two, you had already taken yourself out of action to get away from your team this year. That's number two. So it hurt the Falcons from that standpoint. They had to curtail their offense because they didn't have their best option. And number three, you were caught placing this bet. And let me, not on top of that, not only were you caught placing this bet, I think I just read some more articles in the past few days saying that no, that's not all he did. Maybe the NFL just wasn't reporting everything. And as you can see in this article, if you can read the second paragraph that's on the page here, it says Ridley wagered a total of $3,900 across 6 separate bets on or including Falcons games. 5 of the bets were parlays in which the Falcons money line was included, and one was a $1,300 in-game wager on the Falcons team total placed during the second half of a 21-14 victory by Atlanta on November 28th. All 6 of the wagers involving the Falcons were graded as losses. And you can see that he issued a statement saying, he being Calvin Ridley saying, "I bet $1,500 total. I don't have a gambling problem." And so, continuing on the article, if you look at the second paragraph here, or the second set of citizens, not a full paragraph, it says Ridley placed the best during a period spanning November 23rd to the 28th at a time when the receiver was away from the team on the non-football illness list. He needed a break from football to focus on his mental well-being, he had written in an October 31st statement. As a result of the league's findings that he violated his gambling policy, which Ridley has acknowledged, the NFL on Monday, this past Monday, suspended the 27-year-old former first-round pick indefinitely. The suspension runs at a minimum through the conclusion of the 2022 NFL season. The former Alabama star placed 2 additional $100 wagers on NFL games not involving the Falcons, winning both for a profit of $654. According to investigative records, Ridley also placed 33 additional wagers on other sports and leagues for a total of $32,733 with a profit of $2,744. When I'm seeing some of these numbers in terms of what he won, let me tell you, and let me throw a number at y'all, and I'm about to go over what he lost for this year. Since Calvin Ridley, and for right now, has been suspended for at least the 2022 season, from what I understand, he's lost $11 million for this year. He would have made $11 million playing receiver for the Falcons this year if he would have been eligible to play. That's what makes it such a tale of an epic fail to me. You in the prime of your career at 27 years old, and you're getting ready to throw everything away like that over winning a couple of $1,000 here and there. That makes no sense. I would even ask, does Calvin Ridley suffer from CTE? That makes no sense what he's doing. It makes no freaking sense. It's sad, it's stupid, and he's an idiot. Calvin Ridley, you've embarrassed yourself, bro, your family, the Falcons, and the NFL. I mean, there's just no other way of explaining that. Whenever I hear of a guy that just inflicts punishment on himself by doing stuff like that, it makes no freaking sense. It makes no freaking sense whatsoever, and there's no excuse for it. I don't want to hear people talking about, well, it was only like, a few thousand he was winning here. That's not nothing. They should suspend him from the year. Yes, they should, because he spit in the face of the rules. They should suspend him, and I'm saying that as a Falcons fan, they should suspend him. And that's beside the point in terms of the amount. It's the fact that you knew the rules and you violated them anyway. You're spitting in the face of the rules and the regulation of the game, sir. There's no real apologizing or really trying to explain it. And I'm scrolling down the screen because I believe this is going to be I'm going to read just a little bit of a statement that Commissioner Roger Goodell issued to Calvin Ridley. It says, there is nothing more fundamental to the NFL success and to the reputation of everyone associated with our league than upholding the integrity of the game. This is the responsibility of every player, coach, owner, game official, and anyone else employed in the league. Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk, threaten to damage public confidence in professional football, and potentially undermine the reputation of your fellow players throughout the NFL. For decades, gambling on NFL games has been considered among the most significant violations of league policy, warranting the most substantial action. In your case, I acknowledge and commend you for your promptly reporting for an interview and admitting your actions. But I mean, I know, Roger Goodell is going to make a professional statement there, but it's just sad, man, because again, not only did Calvin Ridley's absence hurt the Falcons last year, it's going to hurt them this year. It's going to have to change up how the Falcons kind of maneuver around in the draft and in free agency. They may go out and they're going to have to pick up another receiver because last year you can tell that their receiving core just suffered. They had guys who had skills at Russell Gage and Amadei Zacchaeus, but they're young players that are not Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley kind of combines their skill like in the one guy. He was supposed to be like, an elite force last year and this year, but he just showing me how dumb he is. And this is sad, man. But either way, I do not feel sorry for Calvin Ridley. He shot himself in the foot, and he deserves to be called everything in the book. In terms of him sacrificing his own character and his team's potential success. Hopefully he learns his lesson. And I'm thinking that he's going to appeal the suspension, but I don't know if that's going to be lessened because gambling is very serious on NFL games. And so with that being said, I'm gonna clock out for this early morning video here on March 14th. Um, Y'all be easy out here. Y'all be safe. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It's your guy J Crew to you. Sign off with another video. Y'all have a good one.